Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Christy and I'm glad to have you here. Today is Testimony Tuesday. It's actually been a couple weeks since I posted a video and it's just been kind of a crazy week. But nonetheless, God is good, and so I just wanted to share a quick little testimony of his goodness and faithfulness to us over the last couple of weeks. So, not this past Friday, but the Friday before, my husband and I, we went to a park nearby to go for a walk, and which we really enjoy going for walks, especially when the weather's nice, and it's been nicer lately. So we went to the park to go for a walk. Like I said, it was Friday after work. We had church later that night. We were planning to come home, make dinner, watch church online, and just have a nice relaxing Friday evening. So we get to the park and we go for our walk. We maybe walk for about 30 minutes, not a long walk, just enough to get outside and get a little exercise. And we come back and we're walking towards the passenger side of the car. My husband walks around the car to get in the driver's seat and drive, and his face is like, his jaw drops and he looks so shocked, and I'm like, what is going on? And I look and I can see through the window that the window on his side was broken, like completely broken. And immediately I remembered I put my purse in the back seat before we left. And sure enough, it was gone. And before I get too far into this, I want to say, like, I'm always really careful with my purse, and I'm really careful about what I leave in the car. I normally I would never do that. Usually, like, if I know that we're going to be going somewhere where I don't want my purse, I either leave it at home or I like put it in the trunk before we get where we're going so that nobody sees me putting it in the trunk. I never leave it in the back seat. If I do, like, I'll cover it up with something, but even that, like, I'm still like usually really leery of. But for whatever reason, I had my purse with me when we got there, and I remember thinking to myself, like, oh crap, I didn't want to bring my purse with me. But then I was like, well, this is a pretty safe place. It's daylight, it's public. My husband's car windows are tinted. I was like, nobody will even see it in the back seat, and like, we're not going to be gone long, so it'll be fine. Well, I was wrong. So, like, literally the one time I let my guard down, I was wrong. And of course, like, when we got back and the car was broken, I was very upset. In part because, like, I had my wallet in there with like all my cards, my ID. I knew we had to cancel everything. I knew, like, time was of the essence. I had some cash, not a lot, but like I did have cash. I had some gift cards, and it was just like everything was gone. And then it was my husband's car on top of that, and so I felt like really bad because it was his car, and I felt like it was my fault, and just like I was really upset. So we called the police right away. While we were waiting for the police, we called all of our banks, canceled all of our credit cards, put a block on like our debit cards and all of that. And I just was like, why? Why is this happening? Fortunately, like, I wasn't by myself. I felt safe. It was still public. It was still daylight. So, like, I felt safe. There were plenty of people around, but I'm just like, how did this person know, like, exactly what window to go into? Because it was like, they broke into the exact window. There was other stuff in my husband's car. They didn't touch anything. Like, they didn't root around. Like, they went right for my purse. And the only thing we can think of is that they must have seen me, like, actually watched me take my purse from my lap and put it in the back seat behind me, which is kind of, creepy and disturbing in itself. But just be careful, especially if you're a woman and you carry a purse. Be careful, because we're pretty sure that somebody watched us do that. And like I said, we weren't gone very long. Our car was within our vision most of the time that we were gone. So, like, literally, they must have watched me put it in the back seat and then watched us walk away until we were out of sight, and did that really quickly. We were even kind of wondering if they were still there, like when we were calling the police in the bank, which was kind of unsettling at the same time. But anyways, we were safe, and we were thankful that we were safe. Like I said, we canceled everything right away. my only thing was like, I was like, can they do anything with my ID? I'm still not sure, but like, can they do anything that since they have my ID? And like, what am I forgetting something that was in my purse or forgetting something that was in my wallet that I need to take care of? So anyways, once we get through calling everybody, it took a while, like probably a good part of an hour, if not more. The police station calls us back and they're like, you know what, like, you're probably better off to just come to the station. You can file a report there. They can help you right away. That way you don't have to wait. And we felt better about that too, because we just felt like safer doing that rather than waiting around, not knowing who was around us. So we went to the police station, filed a report. I asked for some advice on my ID. They said they'd put that in their report in case, you know, they found it or in case someone tried to use it or something. And they told me like what I needed to do as far as getting a new ID and all that. And everyone, I have to say, like, everyone was so kind through all of this. The police officer at the station was, when we left, she just looked at me. She was like, I'm so sorry this happened. You know, we'll let you know if anything shows up, which I wasn't expecting, but I was like, you know, I appreciate it. And like everyone that we called with, like the banks and the credit card companies, they were so nice. And like the first one I called, I think she could tell I was shaken up, and she was like, are you okay? Are you safe? You know, you can relax. Feel free to get some water or something while you're on the phone. But I just thought it was so nice, like that everyone was so kind and so understanding and so respectful. And yeah, so that was, you know, at that point we kind of had cut our losses and, you know, figured, you know, at least we canceled everything that we could think of. We called my parents more like just to pray, but like also just to like help us, because it's hard to think like when you're in the middle of that, like just to help us think if there was anything else that we needed to do. And they're like, no, I'm pretty sure you got everything. So we went home. By that time church was over. We had to drive through really quick because, you know, it was like, I want to say 8:30 or 9 o'clock. We hadn't eaten dinner, and we get home and I was like, I need to go check like our bill book, like my planner with our bills to see if I had, because I usually schedule bills online, and I was like, I need to see if I have any bills scheduled to pay like on our credit cards or on our debit cards, because if I do, I need to figure out like what to do with that so that it doesn't, like, to make sure that they get paid, but that I also don't get like a penalty for it like bouncing against an account that's inactive or something. So I go into my office and go to get my planner, which is on my desk. And lo and behold, my wallet is on my desk, fully intact, everything in there. And I remember taking my wallet out earlier that day. I was working on our taxes, and for some reason I needed my driver's license information, I think for the system I was filing through. I was sure that I put my wallet back in my purse, but I didn't. So everything was canceled, which was like, everything's canceled. Like, we still like don't have any active debit or credit cards, but it was just like, it just felt so like relieving to know that nothing of really importance was stolen. I had all my cash, which again wasn't a lot, but I had all my cash, all our gift cards, like all our credit cards and debit cards, even though they were inactive, my ID, all of that was fully intact, just sitting there safely on my desk. So I did call the police station back and let them know, just because I didn't want to have any like thing false on a report or anything. But at the end of the day, all they got was my purse, which was like a $35 purse, so not incredibly expensive. I still liked it, but my purse, a pair of cheap sunglasses, a bunch of like chapsticks, pens, scrunchies, you know, things like that it's like not a big deal. But yeah, they got like nothing. So anyways, I guess that's like pretty much the whole story, but I just wanted to say, like, when I found my wallet, I just like burst into tears. Like, I'd been crying anyways because I was so upset, but I just like burst into tears, fell to my knees, and I remember hugging my husband and just saying, I can't believe how good God is. And like, I just was reminded of the video I did a couple weeks ago on God's goodness, and the verse that I shared about like how God works all things together for the good of those that love him. And like that verse just stuck out to me again because I was like, God, this was such, like, this could have been such an awful thing to have happened. And it still stinks that like the car window was broken, my purse got stolen, and it was still like unsettling, but it was like God still turned that around to be the best case scenario that it could have been given the circumstances. He knew that was going to happen, and for whatever reason, set it up so that I took my wallet out and left it at home and forgot to put it back in my purse. My husband had some things in like a backpack and some things in his car that he doesn't normally bring in, but for whatever reason brought it in Friday night. So none of that was taken. None of that was, in danger, at risk of getting stolen. But it just like, I don't know, it just amazed me like how good God is, and how even though it was still like scary and unsettling, like he protected not just us and not just our physical safety, but also my identity and our belongings. And I'm just really thankful for that. So I guess I just wanted to like share that because, I shared about God's goodness a couple weeks ago, and I think it's one thing to talk about things like in more of like an abstract, but it's really helpful, at least for me, to hear stories of God's goodness and God's faithfulness, and it helps build my faith in that too. So I hope this story was helpful. I hope it's encouraging to you. And I also wanted to say too, like we were talking to some friends after this, the day after this happened, and talking about how, God doesn't cause bad things to happen to us, but sometimes he allows things like this to happen to see how we respond. And while I think I could have responded in some ways better, like I could have probably, been more prayerful instead of upset, like in the moment. I want to be really, like I want to make sure that I'm glorifying God with the outcome and giving him glory, because there's no reason that I would have left my wallet at home on purpose. There's no reason. And to me, like that is just God's goodness and God's mercy on me to like, I didn't deserve that to happen. Like I said, I'm usually careful, but in that moment I was careless, and he could have just let everything get taken and see how I responded in that. But no, he was good and merciful, and caused me to leave my wallet at home. So anyways, that's all I got. I feel like I've been kind of rambly, but like I said, I hope that these videos are encouraging to you, and I will try to be a little more consistent about posting. I'm trying to do about once every week at least. Just this last week was a little crazy with all of that happening, and then managing our car repairs and all of that. So I hope you have a great week, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.